Hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on live streaming. This topic I've wanted to do a webinar on for quite a long time. Lots of people ask me a lot of questions about live streaming on a daily basis, how to do that through MEDIAL. So today, what are we going to show you? So we're going to show you how to do a simple kind of live stream through MEDIAL using a tool called OBS, which a lot of people will already be aware of. We're going to show you how to play that back, how to archive it, how to embed it as well, and all the cool functions within MEDIAL for kind of making that live stream look a little bit nicer on page. We're then going to talk about scaling of live streaming, how you kind of go from small audience to a large audience and doing that internally and also in the cloud. And then we're going to talk about how you could live stream your Zoom meetings, how you can live stream your Teams meetings as well. Talk about how you could actually do all of this with MEDIAL from the point of view of what bits you would need to do it. And then we'll go into a Q&A at the end of that. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to go through just how to do a simple live stream through MEDIAL using a tool called OBS, which is an open source tool which is free. So what do we do first? First thing, we need to log into our MEDIAL account, and then we need to click on the live streaming option. Now what I've done is I've already created some channels ahead of time for this webinar, but what you would do is just add a new channel. But we'll assume that you've done that. I've got my channel in here, which is my OBS channel. So when you set a channel up in MEDIAL, what you do is give it a name, and it gives you all of these different options, all of these different fields rather, when you set the live stream up. So to stream from this, you're getting things like a server name, a stream name, etc. And all that we need to do to get this working in OBS is really, really simple. We need to take the values that we've got in our MEDIAL and put them into OBS. So if we go into the settings in OBS, and then we go to settings and then stream, and then what we need to do is grab those settings from here. So we grab this one here. This is the server name. And we've got to remember to put RTMP on the front of it. And remember to put 2 forward slashes there. On the end of it, for the server name that you get from MEDIAL, doesn't have anything on the end of it. It's here. So you need to take that, because you can have lots of different what we call applications. And then the stream key is literally just the file name here. So we grab that, put that into OBS just here, and then we'll always require a username and password to stream from MEDIAL. Those are ones that you can be given by us from a support perspective. So I'm not going to show those here for obvious reasons, but you can get those from us at MEDIAL. So now that we've done that, we click on apply, we click on OK. Now obviously we'd want to stream live from a camera or something like that. All that I'm doing today, just to test this, is I'm streaming a file live. So that's why I've got this file that's about the live streaming feature within MEDIAL, and I'm going to stream that live. But you can do loads of different things within OBS, and you can choose lots of different sources here, and we'll come to that later when we talk about streaming Teams, for example. We're going to capture Teams and then stream that out live. So once we're done with that, super simple, we just start streaming, and that's that. So now that's pushing that stream from OBS to MEDIAL. Now a lot of people say to me, should I record it on OBS as well? And the answer to that is you don't need to, because MEDIAL will record the stream for you if you set it to do that. And I'll show you how to do that in here. So when we go into MEDIAL, you'll see there's this other option here called destination. And you can see here what we've decided is to push this live stream to MEDIAL, but we've also decided to archive it to a particular category. So we don't need to record it in OBS at all. Other things that we can do here in MEDIAL, there's lots of different options here in terms of the the way the live stream would appear to the end user. We'll go through a few of those, but because this webinar is sort of relatively short in length, it's not going to be possible to go through every single option, but I'll show you how I've configured my live stream here. So if we go in here, the basics of this are that you can show different things to people at different stages of the event. So we have like something that you can show them if they have to log in to view the stream, something that you can show them way before the event starts, maybe days before, something that you could show them, you know, as the event is about to start, and something that you could show them after the event starts. And what I've done is I've decided to show a video at each of these stages, but what you could show is a picture, even some HTML if you wanted to, but I've decided to show a video. Let's bring that to life a bit by actually showing how that works within this thing called the director. So if we go into the director here, we've got two modes of using the director. One is called preview. So this is not what the audience would see. This is just emulating what the audience would see ahead of time. So you can see here in my preview mode, we can then see what people would see if we started changing the state of our live playback page. So you can remember from what I've said before, I've set a video to each of these stages. So if we click on this pre-event 1, it will load the video that I had selected from my MEDIAL. And MEDIAL actually ships with some really nicely done videos that show these messages. You know, this event will begin soon, etc. You may have seen these actually on the way into the webinar because we use them for our webinars as well. You can see here, if I select this as well, I've actually set my pre-event 2 status as actually being an intermission video, because what I want to do is flip to an intermission video when my live stream is getting to a point when we're taking a break in the live stream. So there's also that video available within MEDIAL as well. When I want to go live, I click on live, and what that will do is it will show my live stream. So remember, I'm doing my live stream from OBS, and I was just live streaming a media file. So there's my live feed there. So we've checked that everything will be okay. We're going to check our post-event state as well, just to see once the event's finished, what could we potentially show to our audience as well. There we go. There's a video just saying the event's concluded. So if we go to our playout page, you can see the intermission video is playing right now. And then we flip that to live stream. Remember, we're going live now. This is our live switcher. We flick to our live stream. That flicks to our live stream here so that we can see what our audience are seeing. And then when we go here, we also get our live feed as well, playing back. So now what we do in OBS is at the end of our event, we would stop streaming. We would go back and we would flip to post-event, and that would show the post-event video to our audience. Now, when we configured this live stream before, you saw that I set the stream to archive. So that will be going into the MEDIAL library. Let's go and take a look at that now. And there we go. There's our event ready to be archived. Now, another question that we get a lot of as well is, obviously we've seen the playback in MEDIAL and with a playback page. So there's actually two playback pages. There's a kind of clean playback page that you can see here that has no navigation around it, and there's also one in the MEDIAL library. But a lot of the questions we get is, well, I don't necessarily want to use that playback page or that URL. I'd like to embed it in another system. So very, very easy. Just go to your live event page, you grab this embed code here, and then I'll just show, for instance, putting it into Moodle. It's actually, I've already done it here, but I'll simulate that here. I'll put that into Moodle, paste it in there, just in the code text view there. And now we have our live feed in Moodle. So if we save and display, you can see here, this is going to be showing the post event video because I've stopped my live stream. But if I started my live stream in OBS, that would be showing the live stream in Moodle as well, or WordPress, or any other LMS system that you want to use. We're just embedding an iframe. Very, very simple. So we've seen the simple process of streaming from OBS from your MEDIAL. But what if you want to scale this stream either on your network or beyond your network on the cloud? So MEDIAL is suitable for doing live streams to small numbers of users. But what if we want to do it to thousands of users? How do we do that? So the first thing to talk about is how could you do that on your network? Now this is just an example of a customer that we've helped out with a technology called Origin and Edge. And the way this works, it looks like quite a complicated diagram, but the way this works is basically we use a technology from Wowzer, which is the streaming server that underlies MEDIAL, and we use it so that we put edge servers in at specific locations. So this example here was a customer that's got over 8,000 employees at 60 different offices. And what we did is we streamed all of the content to the Origin servers, and then all of the edge servers picked up on that content to save on bandwidth. So although the diagram's quite complicated, what this says is basically MEDIAL can be used on an internal network to scale live streaming to thousands of users. So if you wanted to do that, contact us. It's quite a specialist setup, but basically once you've put it into your MEDIAL, you get the ability to specify the edge servers that you want to use and all of the different resolutions you want to stream at. Again, get in touch if you want to talk about doing something like that. The next part of this is actually how you would scale your live stream through a CDN. Now, this is a recent addition to MEDIAL as a product, and I'm going to do a demo of it in just a second, but I'm going to show again a diagram of how this works. So how this works with a MEDIAL is we basically push a live feed to CDN, in this case Wowzer Video, which is CDN by the company Wowzer. And this particular example is a customer that we've helped out to do a stream to 15,000 employees from the cloud. So this use case is applicable to people that want to do a stream at scale and use the cloud, so not on their internal network. And I'm going to do a demo of this now. So again, what we do is we click on our live streaming tile, and I've got a Wowzer Video CDN live stream already set up here. But again, you would click on Add New. When we go into this, there's only one real difference here between doing this simple live stream I showed through OBS to doing a live stream to the CDN. So the simple live stream that I showed went directly to MEDIAL and we did it all through MEDIAL. This is doing it at scale, so we're going out to like a live streaming CDN. The only real difference here is that we just select a different option. So when we go into our live source, we do have this option to push to Wowzer CDN. Because I've already set this up, it's kind of grayed out, but you would get these different options, and one of them would be push to Wowzer CDN. You can choose a location that you want your stream to be at from a drop-down menu. Again, I've chosen Germany, and you can choose a resolution. So that's just the quality that you're going to do your stream at in OBS. And again, super, super simple. All that we're doing is we're copying and pasting values off of this screen into our OBS. So we'll do that. We'll take the RTMP server again, go into our settings, we go into stream, and we're just gonna paste that in there. Very, very simple. Then we're gonna get our stream name, which is gonna be this one here. We're gonna paste that in there as well. Authentication, we're gonna use different authentication because this is going to cloud, so we'll get this and we will put that in there, and we'll get the password and put that in there. So everything's gone in now. We apply, click on OK, and again, super simple, we would click on start streaming. But before we do that, because it's a CDN stream, you can see here that we've actually got to start it from here, from MEDIAL, so that the CDN can pick it up. We can also schedule it as well, so we can schedule this stream to start and stop at a particular time. So what we'll do, we'll start it manually. So now that's started, we can go ahead into OBS and we can start streaming. So we click on Start. Again, I'm just streaming a file rather than it being a live feed. That's now running. And again, the same thing. We go back to our director, and in here we can flip between the various states. So now that we know our live stream's going, we click on live stream, and there we go. There's our live feed going. And if we go to our playout page, same thing. This is our live feed playing here. So very, very simple. Same theory as doing a stream from OBS to MEDIAL. We're just doing it to a CDN as well. The other really cool thing about this as well is when we stop it, this is also going to archive the stream from the cloud back into MEDIAL. So why would you use this rather than pushing your stream directly to MEDIAL? You'd use it if you wanted scale, basically. If you want to do to a very, very large audience, you would use this rather than directly streaming to your MEDIAL. So now moving on, let's talk about how you would use Zoom with MEDIAL. Before we come on to talk about how you'd use it from a live streaming point of view, let's just briefly go through what the Zoom integration does for VOD files rather than live streaming. So as you may know, when you record to the cloud in Zoom and you've integrated with MEDIAL, what we can do is we can auto ingest those Zoom meetings into MEDIAL, and then we can actually make those available in things like Moodle, Canvas and Blackboard, as well as in MEDIAL. We can also delete the files from the Zoom cloud as well if you don't want to pay for the storage in the Zoom cloud. Where do they end up? Well, this is just a screenshot of our Moodle integration, and you can see here when the user goes to their own content to see if they want to embed it in Moodle, you can see here this is how those Zoom meetings appear, and they can edit them in here, and they could embed them into Moodle through one click. How do we do streaming within Zoom? So basically you need to configure what we call a custom streaming service for your meeting, and I'll do a demo in just a second, but this is just showing the basics of how to do that, and we need to configure streaming for the meeting specifically. So we'll go into a browser now and we'll show how to do that. So here we are in the browser. The first thing that you can do, I mean, it's sort of optional really, I would say, is you can sort of configure this at like an account level, and you can provide instructions for people for what to put in if they want to do a live stream. So this is kind of buried away in the settings a bit, but just to kind of let you know. So within settings and in meeting advanced, you've got this allow live streaming of meetings, and this allows you to put some instructions to your users so that they can kind of do a live stream. Not especially needed, but just something to be aware of. The better sort of way of doing this from the point of view of doing on a kind of per meeting basis is just to set up a meeting, as I've done here. I mean, I've set up a recurring meeting, but it could be a one-off meeting, and then go into edit that meeting. And then you'll see here there's a section for live streaming because I've got live streaming enabled on my Zoom. And then you can see here, this is basically where you configure it here. So again, pretty simple to do it. All that we need to do is come in here and put these settings in here. So where do we get these from? Again, same sort of thing as we did before. So if we go into MEDIAL, go to live streaming, I've kind of already set this up here as my Zoom live stream, but again, we're getting these settings from this live source page here. So you can see we're copying these out of here and we're putting them into here. So I've already done these ahead of time to kind of save on doing this all over again, but you can see here they're all in here. Then we click save. So then we want to go to our Zoom meeting. So we obviously click on the link. That's going to launch our Zoom client. And then when we're in here, we now need to go here, this little live streaming option, live on custom streaming service. So it's got everything in here. We need to type in our username and our password. This is something that we would give you. So we've got a Zoom meeting going here, and this is our live feed here. So at the moment we're just showing an image because that's what we specified in our director. But if we went back here and we want to change that in our live switcher to the live stream, then that's going to start showing our Zoom. And then if we go back to our live page here, this has started streaming our Zoom meeting. So pretty simple. Again, why would you use this if you wanted to stream beyond sort of the Zoom client and you wanted to stream beyond the realms of Zoom in terms of numbers of users? And again, we could kind of mix workflows here. We could have streamed from Zoom to MEDIAL and then out to the CDN as I showed in the previous example. So with Zoom, pretty simple. And again, that recording of the live stream would go back into MEDIAL as well. So yeah, pretty cool workflow. We'll move on to Teams now. So Teams, how does that work with MEDIAL? So again, we'll do a brief overview of how the video on demand integration works with Teams and MEDIAL. So before we go and look at how to do a live stream from Teams to MEDIAL. So here we can see when you do recordings in Teams, they'll go to OneDrive and SharePoint now. Microsoft got rid of Microsoft Stream as a way of holding those recordings. We can ingest those recordings from SharePoint and OneDrive, put them into MEDIAL, and then of course they can turn up in your LMS as well. We can also delete them from OneDrive if you want us to. Again, where do they turn up? They turn up in your MEDIAL account, and if you were going to MEDIAL within one of our LMS integrations, for example Moodle as seen here, you can see that the Teams recordings would end up there. People could select them very easily, embed them into Moodle. They're completely secure there as well. You can edit them there. You can do all kinds of different things that you're not necessarily be able to do in OneDrive or in the kind of the Microsoft world. So in terms of how it works with live, let's do that now. So here's the kind of interface within Teams that we all know and love, or maybe not know and love, but that we all use very, very regularly. How would we capture from this? So I've set up a kind of a simple meeting here, just so it's pre-done, but I'm sure all of you are well aware of how to set up a meeting in Teams. I would join that meeting. So I've joined that meeting now, and I want to capture what's going on this particular meeting. So we can see that there's a participant sharing their screen here. And we obviously want to record that as well. So we need to go into OBS. Instead of just recording, I mean, we were recording a media player before, we're going to need to record our system audio. So we need to disable recording our microphone. Only record our system audio, which is what's coming through Teams, and we need to also record a window. So you can see here we've selected Microsoft Teams. We're now going to live stream that. So we've got our audio source, which is our desktop audio, which is what's coming through Teams. I'm also recording the Teams window here. So we'll go to live stream that, start streaming again. Now that we've started streaming, we can go to our playout page, our director, and we can switch from the image that we've got to the live stream. And you can see that we're now streaming from Teams, and if we go to our Teams playout page, same thing, we're streaming live as well. So just before we go to our Q&A session, let's talk through the topic of security, because this is one that's of great interest to a lot of people, because obviously want to secure their live streams. So if we go into the live streaming tile, let's look at the live stream that we did first of all, the simple live stream. So how can we, what different ways can we secure this stream here? So lots of different ways. We can decide to have no login at all, which is what we've done today. We can log in with a MEDIAL security group, so that could be an Active Directory security group, Azure AD, an SSO security group, or you could have it with a custom password. So any of those three options you can do. You can restrict by IP address if you want, and you can also do it so that if you embed the stream somewhere, it will only work on a particular domain. So that's quite cool if you were going to embed it in Moodle or something like that. Now, some people that have attended this webinar are customers of ours already, so this bit is kind of to ignore, I guess, but to get MEDIAL, there's various different ways of doing it on premise and in the cloud. Our prices start around the levels shown here. If you're interested in having a solution for video on demand, for Moodle, for Blackboard, Canvas, etc., there's lots of different ways of getting our solution. But here are some ways of getting, at least a starter solution for what I've shown you today. If you're an existing customer, a lot of what you would have already, you already kind of have MEDIAL live, as long as you're not a MEDIAL Lite customer. But if you're a full MEDIAL customer already, then we do have the ability to do this kind of scaling of live streaming, as I showed here. We've got these new packages that are like a starter, standard and plus packages. The prices are shown here, and we can set you up with an account to be able to do this kind of scaling to this kind of degree here. So if you're interested in that, get in touch with us and we'll give you the details of how to set that up, and we can get that going for you. We'll now enter a short Q&A session. If there's any questions, have them ready. I'll answer them live. Questions can be on live streaming or anything that you like about MEDIAL. I'm here to answer the questions, no problem.